The silence begins. Dr. Alex Goodwin rubbed his tired eyes and stared at the monitor. Something was wrong with the data. He had been tracking stellar patterns across the Orion Arm for months now, and the readings made no sense. Stars were disappearing, not exploding, not dying in supernovas or collapsing into black holes, just going dark. "Hey Liz, can you check these readings?" Alex called to his colleague across the observatory lab. Dr. Elizabeth Powell walked over, coffee mug in hand. She leaned over his shoulder, her brow furrowing as she examined the screen. "That can't be right," she murmured, setting down her mug. "Run the diagnostic again." Alex did. The results were the same. 12 stars in the outer reaches had simply stopped emitting light or radiation of any kind, and the pattern of darkness was spreading in what appeared to be a deliberate path. "It's moving in a straight line," Alex said quietly. "Whatever this is, it's not random." Within hours, the observatory was buzzing with activity. Government officials arrived by helicopter. Military personnel secured the perimeter. Alex found himself explaining his findings to stern-faced generals and scientists in a hastily arranged conference room. "So you're telling me stars are being turned off?" General Frank Miller asked, his voice thick with skepticism. "Not exactly. Turned off, sir," Alex replied. "Something is either blocking all emissions or harvesting the energy completely. We've never seen anything like it." Miles away at North American Aerospace Defense Command, alarms were already sounding. Captain Olivia Bennett of the deep space vessel Horizon received an urgent recall message while her ship was docked at the moon colony. "All leaves canceled. Return to Earth immediately," read the message from Admiral Harding. Olivia frowned. The Horizon was scheduled for a 6-month mission to Neptune's moons. A recall meant something serious was happening. "Jackson, plot us a course back to Earth," she ordered her navigator. "Maximum burn." As the Horizon broke lunar orbit, Olivia gazed out at the stars. They looked the same as always, bright, distant, eternal. But for how long? Back at the observatory, Dr. Goodwin noticed something even more disturbing. The pattern of darkening stars was accelerating, and simple trajectory projections showed it heading toward Earth's sector of space. "At current velocity, whatever this is will reach our solar system in approximately 14 months, he told the assembled officials. The room fell silent. "Could this be a natural phenomenon?" asked Dr. William Chen, the president's science advisor. Alex shook his head. "The movement pattern suggests intelligence. It's too precise, too systematic." A woman in the back stood up. "I'm Dr. Maria Diaz, first contact specialist. If this is an intelligent force, we need to consider all possibilities. This could be a migration, a natural resource gathering mission, or it could be hostile." General Miller finished for her. By evening, the president had been briefed. Within days, space agencies worldwide shared data confirming Alex's findings. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. Captain Bennett's ship arrived at Earth's orbital defense station, where she was immediately escorted to a classified briefing. The images she saw chilled her to the bone. A wave of darkness spreading across star charts, methodically extinguishing light. "The Horizon is being recommissioned," Admiral Harding told her. "We're outfitting her with new sensors and sending you to the edge of the darkness. We need eyes out there." "Captain." As governments secretly prepared for the unknown threat, Dr. Goodwin made another discovery. The pattern of advancing darkness wasn't random after all. It was following the most densely populated star systems. It's targeting areas with the highest probability of harboring life, he realized with growing horror. Across Earth, telescopes turned toward the heavens, watching as one by one the stars fell silent. The warning signs. Months after Dr. Goodwin's discovery, the mining colony on Europa unearthed something impossible. Buried under miles of ice was a metallic object clearly not of human origin. "It's artificial," radioed Colony Chief Laura Diaz to Earth Control. "And it appears to be some kind of warning beacon." Dr. Sam Richardson, Earth's leading xenoarchaeologist, arrived on Europa 3 weeks later. The artifact was unlike anything he had ever seen, a perfect sphere made of an unknown alloy with intricate symbols etched across its surface. These markings are similar to mathematical sequences, Sam told Captain Bennett, who had been assigned to escort him. But they're also telling a story. Day and night, Sam worked on deciphering the symbols. The sphere occasionally pulsed with a soft blue light as if responding to his efforts. After weeks of analysis, he called an emergency meeting. "It's a warning," Sam explained to the assembled team. "These symbols show a pattern of stars going dark, the same pattern we're observing now." He pointed to a series of markings. "These represent different civilizations, all systematically erased." Captain Bennett leaned forward. "How old is this artifact?" "At least 50,000 years," Sam replied. "Maybe older." The news sent shockwaves through Earth's leadership. They weren't the first to face this threat. Others had come before, and apparently failed to stop it. Meanwhile, the pattern of darkening stars accelerated. Dr. Goodwin's projections now showed the phenomenon would reach Earth in just 8 months. "It's changing course," he reported to the Galactic Defense Initiative, a newly formed international body. "It's moving directly toward us now, as if it knows we're watching it." At the United Nations, representatives from all nations voted unanimously to pool resources. National militaries merged under GDI command. Scientists worldwide shared data freely. "This is humanity's fight for survival," declared the Secretary General. Commander Eric Lawson led a scouting mission to a system that had recently gone dark. His ship, the Valiant, carried Earth's most advanced sensors. "My God," Lawson whispered as they arrived. The star still physically existed, but it emitted no light or heat. Around it floated debris, the remnants of what had once been planets and moons. "There were cities here," reported his science officer, Abby Martinez. "I'm detecting architectural remains, technology fragments. This was a thriving civilization." When the Valiant returned to Earth with its findings, panic threatened to grip humanity. But instead, determination took hold. The Europa artifact wasn't the only one. Similar warnings were found on Mars and beneath Earth's oceans. Each contained slightly different information, but all pointed to the same threat, what one artifact called the silence. Sam Richardson worked tirelessly to piece together the story. "These weren't warnings left by one civilization," he explained to GDI leaders. "They were left by many different species, all trying to warn whoever came after them." Captain Bennett was given command of a fleet of ships tasked with establishing an early warning line at the edge of our solar system. "We don't know what form this threat takes," she told her crew, "but we'll be the first to see it coming, and the first line of defense." Dr. Goodwin made perhaps the most startling discovery of all. Analyzing the pattern more deeply, he realized the stars weren't being destroyed. "Their energy is being harvested," he reported. "Something is consuming them completely, leaving nothing behind but cold matter." As Earth prepared for the unknown enemy, another realization dawned. If humanity fell, there might be no one left to warn the next civilization. The stars continued to fall silent and the darkness crept closer to Earth. First contact, the early warning system detected it first, an object moving at impossible speeds toward our solar system, not from the direction of the silent stars, but from the opposite side of the galaxy. "Unknown vessel approaching Pluto's orbit," reported Lieutenant Ryan Clark from the monitoring station on Titan. Captain Bennett ordered her fleet to defensive positions. Every ship, every weapon, stood ready to defend Earth. But the approaching vessel slowed as it neared Neptune, broadcasting on all frequencies. "We come in peace," the message said in perfect English. "We are refugees. Like you, we face extinction." After tense negotiations, the alien ship was permitted to approach Earth, escorted by Captain Bennett's flagship. The vessel was beautiful, an elongated silver structure that seemed to flow like liquid metal. When the ship docked with the International Space Station, humanity held its breath. The airlock opened, and the visitors emerged. They called themselves the Preservers. Standing, 7 feet tall with pale blue skin and 4 arms, they moved with unexpected grace despite Earth's gravity. We have watched your world for centuries, their leader, Ambassador Kell, explained through a translator device. When we detected your observations of the void, we knew we must come. In a packed United Nations hall, Ambassador Kell addressed Earth's leaders. The void is ancient, Kell explained. It emerged millions of years ago from the center of the galaxy. We believe it was created as a tool, but its makers are long gone. Now it simply consumes, moving from star to star, growing, stronger. Holographic images showed massive structures surrounding dark stars, mechanical hives that seemed to pulse with stolen energy. The void isn't destroying stars, Kell continued. It harvests them completely, using their energy to expand. It seeks efficiency above all else, targeting systems with the most resources first. Dr. Goodwin stood up. Why has it changed course toward Earth? We're not a particularly resource-rich system. Kell's 4 hands moved in a gesture of regret. Because you noticed it. The void eliminates potential threats first, then continues its harvest. Your observations marked you as intelligent and therefore dangerous. The revelation stunned the assembly. Their very act of discovery had doomed them. Is there no way to stop it? Asked GDI Director Natalie Wright. We have tried. For thousands of years, Kell replied. My people once inhabited 12 star systems. Now we survive on generation ships hiding in the spaces between stars. We are the last of many species who fought the void. Hope seemed lost until Kell revealed their true purpose. We bring technology, the ambassador said. Not to defeat the void, that may be impossible, but to detect its approach more accurately, and perhaps to hide from it. The preservers shared their technology freely. Devices that could detect the void's scout drones, materials that could shield energy signatures, and most importantly, data from countless encounters with the enemy. Dr. Goodwin worked directly with the preservers, studying the void's patterns. It's not random, he announced after weeks of analysis. The void follows an efficiency algorithm. It calculates the energy cost of harvesting against the energy gained. If the cost is too high, it moves on to easier targets. Captain Bennett watched the holographic simulation with narrowed eyes. So if we could make ourselves too costly to harvest... Exactly, Dr. Goodwin nodded. We can't fight it directly. It's too vast. But we might be able to convince it we're not worth the effort. As humanity and the preservers worked together, deep space telescopes captured the first images of the void itself, a vast swarm of machines surrounding dead stars, connected by energy streams that pulsed like veins in a living organism. It was coming. And Earth had 6 months to prepare. Preparing for war, Earth transformed itself in a way never seen before in human history. National borders became meaningless as factories worldwide shifted to building defense systems based on preserver designs. Orbital shipyards worked around the clock, retrofitting every spacecraft with alien technology. GDI Director Natalie Wright stood in the control center beneath Mount Cheyenne, watching real-time updates from around the globe. Construction crews raised massive energy shields over major cities. Military personnel trained civilians in emergency protocols. Scientists worked frantically to understand and improve the preserver technology. Status report, Natalie demanded, her voice tight with exhaustion. Fleet is at 60% readiness, replied her assistant. Energy shield network at 43%. Evacuation shelters at 78%. Not enough. Not nearly enough. The void would reach them in 4 months. On the moon's dark side, engineer Kevin Foster worked with a team of Earth's brightest minds and 3 preserver scientists. Their goal, develop a weapon that might actually harm the void. The problem isn't power, Kevin explained to Captain Bennett during her inspection tour. We can generate enough energy. The problem is targeting. The void isn't a single entity. It's billions of machines working together. Kevin led her to a testing chamber, where a device hummed with blue energy. This is our prototype. It doesn't destroy the void's machines, it disrupts their communication network. If they can't coordinate, they can't harvest efficiently. Bennett studied the device. Will it work? Kevin's tired face showed both hope and doubt. In theory. We've tested it against preserver simulations, but we won't know for sure until we face the real thing, Bennett finished. In orbit, the Horizon underwent its final transformation. Once an exploration vessel, it now bristled with weapons and defense systems. Its hull gleamed with preserver alloys that could withstand incredible energy discharges. At its core sat Foster's disruption device, the prototype for what might be humanity's only effective weapon. Captain Bennett walked through her ship's corridors, nodding to crew members as she passed. Many were new, hastily trained but determined. Others were veterans who had never expected to fight an enemy like this. "The ship is ready, Captain," reported her first officer, Commander Peter Mills. Bennett nodded. "And the crew?" "As ready as they'll ever be." Throughout the solar system, early warning beacons were placed at strategic locations. Automated drones patrolled the outer reaches, programmed to provide critical intelligence about the void's approach. Preserver sensors, far more advanced than human technology, could detect the void's scout machines from incredible distances. On Earth, children practiced emergency drills. Families prepared underground shelters. The media broadcast constant updates on preparation efforts, careful to balance truth with hope. Dr. Goodwin worked with preserver astronomers to track the void's advance. Its harvesting had become more aggressive, consuming stars more quickly as it approached Earth's system. "It knows we're preparing," Goodwin told the GDI Council. "It's gathering more energy before it encounters us." The preservers shared stories of other civilizations that had fought the void. Some had deployed massive energy weapons. Others had attempted to negotiate. A few had tried to flee. None had succeeded. But none had warning, Ambassador Kell reminded them. None had our technology and knowledge combined with your creativity. As the deadline approached, Captain Bennett received her final orders. The Horizon would lead a fleet to a neighboring star system where the void was expected to appear first. They would test Foster's disruption device under real conditions. "This isn't just about Earth anymore," Natalie Wright told Bennett before departure. "If we find a way to stop this thing, we save countless future civilizations." Bennett snapped, a salute. "We won't let you down." As the Horizon left orbit with its battle group, humanity watched and waited. The great test was about to begin. The first engagement. The Horizon and its battle group reached the Proxima Centauri system 3 days before the void's predicted arrival. Captain Bennett positioned her ships in a defensive formation around the star's outer planets. "All ships, maintain communication silence," she ordered. "Passive sensors only. We don't want to alert it to our presence." The waiting was the hardest part. Crew members checked and rechecked their systems. Engineers made final adjustments to Foster's disruption device. Scientists monitored every fluctuation in the star's output. "Contact," whispered Lieutenant Clark, at the sensor station. Edge of the system. On the main screen, a darkness appeared against the backdrop of stars. Not a solid object, but a swarm. Countless machines moving in perfect coordination. "They're deploying around the star," reported Science Officer Julia Grant. "Standard harvesting pattern, just as the preservers described." Bennett watched as the void surrounded Proxima Centauri. The machines linked together, forming energy conduits that began to drain the star's power. The star's bright red glow dimmed noticeably. "Foster, is the device ready?" Bennett asked through her comm. "Ready as it'll ever be, Captain," came the engineer's tense reply from below decks. Bennett took a deep breath. "All ships, maintain position until my mark." She turned to her weapons officer. "Target the central energy conduit and prepare to fire the disruption device." The void continued its work, unaware of the human fleet hiding behind the system's outer planets. Or so they thought. "Captain, we've got movement," Clark called out. "Some of the machines are breaking formation. They're heading toward us." "They've detected us," Bennett realized. "All ships, battle stations, prepare to engage." The void's scout machines accelerated toward the human fleet, dark, angular shapes moving with frightening speed. "Fire the disruption device," Bennett ordered. The Horizon's main cannon released a pulse of blue energy that streaked toward the void's harvesting formation. It struck the central conduit, spreading throughout the network. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the machines began to move erratically. Some collided with others. The energy flow faltered. "It's working," Foster shouted over the comm. But the celebration was premature. The disruption spread for only 30 seconds before the void adapted. Its machines reorganized, establishing new communication patterns. "Dean, scout machines are still coming," Clark reported. "Impact in 20 seconds. All ships, evasive maneuvers, conventional weapons free," Bennett ordered. The battle was joined. Human ships fired missiles and energy weapons at the approaching machines. Some found their targets, destroying individual units. But for each one destroyed, 10 more seemed to appear. The smaller vessels in Bennett's fleet were the first to fall. The USS Defender exploded when 3 of the Void's machines latched onto its hull and overloaded its power systems. The Intrepid lost engine control and drifted helplessly before being torn apart. "We need to fall back," Commander Mills urged. The disruption device had some effect. "We have the data we need." Bennett nodded grimly. "All remaining ships prepare for emergency FTL jump. Return to Earth coordinates." As the Horizon prepared to jump, a swarm of machines surrounded the ship. The hull groaned under their attack. "FTL drive charging, 30 seconds to jump," reported the navigator. Foster's voice came over the comm. "Captain, I've been studying their response. They modified their communication frequency after our attack. If we can get this data back to Earth, we might be able to adjust the device." The ship shuddered as more machines attached themselves to the hull. 20 seconds to jump. Bennett watched as another ship in her fleet was destroyed. 10 seconds. "Hull breach on Deck 4, reported damage control. 5 seconds. Jump." The Horizon disappeared into FTL space, escaping the Void's grasp. But of the 12 ships that had entered the Proxima Centauri system, only 4 were returning to Earth. As they traveled, Dr. Goodwin analyzed the data they had gathered. His conclusion was grim. "The Void isn't just a swarm," he told Bennett. "It's learning, adapting, like a collective intelligence." The first engagement had been fought. The real war was just beginning. The counter-strategy Dr. Goodwin stared at the data screens, ignoring the coffee that had gone cold beside him. The Horizon's encounter with the Void had provided critical information, bought with the lives of 8 ships and their crews. "I see it now," he muttered. "It's all about efficiency." Captain Bennett leaned over his shoulder. Her uniform was still creased from the debriefing meeting that had lasted through the night. "What do you see, Alex?" she asked. "The Void follows a strict harvesting algorithm. Look at the pattern." He pointed to the screen. "It always targets the highest energy yield for the lowest expenditure. It's like a perfect predator. It won't waste energy on prey that costs too much to catch." Kevin Foster joined them, his eyes red from lack of sleep. "So, if we could make Earth appear not worth harvesting?" "Exactly," Goodwin nodded. "We can't destroy it. It's too vast. But we might be able to convince it we're too costly a meal." The 3 brought their theory to GDI Director Wright. Within hours, a new plan took shape. "We need to make our solar system appear toxic to the Void's harvesting process," Goodwin explained to the assembled leaders. "The Preserver's technology can help us create energy signatures that will make the Void calculate that harvesting our star would consume more energy than it would gain." Foster took over the explanation. "We'll need to place special devices around our sun and each planet. The devices will emit energy patterns that disrupt the Void's calculations. Like spoiling food so a scavenger won't eat it," simplified Bennett. The plan required massive coordination. Every human settlement in the solar system, from Earth to the Mars colonies to the mining stations around Jupiter, would need to work together. The energy signatures had to appear natural, or the Void would recognize the deception. But not everyone agreed with the plan. Gregory Mason, a wealthy industrialist with significant influence, led a group that called themselves the Realists. They believed resistance was futile. "The evidence is clear," Mason declared in an unauthorized broadcast. "Every civilization that has faced the Void has fallen. Our only hope is to offer surrender, to give it what it wants without resistance. Perhaps it will spare some of us." Mason's message spread fear. In some cities, riots broke out. People demanded escape ships, though there was nowhere to escape. Director Wright addressed the world. "We will not surrender. We have a plan, we have hope, but we need everyone's cooperation." Captain Bennett was given a critical mission. The counter-strategy required the outer colonies to synchronize their energy signatures perfectly with Earth. She would take the horizon to deliver the technology and ensure its proper implementation. "You leave in 6 hours," Wright told her. "Mason's people are already spreading dissent on the colonies. You need to get there first." As Bennett prepared her ship, Foster approached her with a small device. "This is the latest version of the disruption technology," he said. "It's tuned to the Void's new communication frequency. It won't stop them, but it might buy you time if you encounter them." Bennett nodded, securing the device. "What are our chances, really?" Foster hesitated. "The math is sound. The theory is solid, but we're trying to trick something that's been harvesting stars for millions of years. So not great." Bennett smiled grimly. "Not great," Foster agreed. "But not zero either. The Horizon departed Earth orbit, carrying humanity's best hope. Their mission: visit each colony and outpost, install the counter-strategy technology, and return before the Void reached the solar system in 2 months. Meanwhile, Earth transformed itself. The energy signature devices were placed around the sun and planets. The preservers worked alongside humans, sharing their knowledge and technology freely. Dr. Goodwin coordinated the effort from Earth, maintaining constant communication with Bennett as she traveled to the colonies. "We've found something else in the data," he told her during one transmission. "The Void doesn't just adapt. It learns from each civilization it encounters. It's grown smarter over millennia." The race against time continued. The Void drew closer. And somewhere in the darkness of space, Mason's followers were making their own plans that could doom humanity's last hope. The last stand. The Void arrived at the edge of the solar system with no warning. One moment, Neptune's monitoring station was sending regular updates. The next, silence. "It's here," Dr. Goodwin announced in the GDI command center. His voice remained steady, though his hands trembled slightly. "Sooner than we predicted." Director Wright immediately activated Earth's defense protocol. "Status of the counter-strategy? Energy signature network is at 94%, reported a technician. "Most outer colonies are synchronized, but we're still waiting on the Jupiter mining stations." Wright's expression tightened. "The Horizon?" "Captain Bennett is at the Jupiter stations now, implementing the final adjustments." Around Jupiter, Captain Bennett worked frantically with the station crews. The massive gas giant's moons housed critical mining operations, and their energy signatures needed precise calibration.
"That's the last one," Bennett confirmed, watching the energy pattern stabilize on her tablet. "Jupiter is synchronized with Earth's network." Her first officer approached with a worried expression. "Captain, we're detecting unusual activity at
The Neptune defense line. The Void has stopped." Bennett rushed to the Horizon's bridge. On the main screen, she could see the Void's machines hovering at Neptune's orbit, neither advancing nor retreating. "It's working," she whispered. "The counter-strategy is making it hesitate." For 24 hours, humanity dared to hope. The Void remained at Neptune's orbit, its machines spreading out as if searching for something. Then everything changed. "We're detecting a transmission from within the Void's perimeter," reported Lieutenant Clark. It's a human frequency." Bennett felt ice in her veins. "Mason." The transmission revealed the worst. Mason and his followers had taken control of a research station on Triton, Neptune's largest moon. They were broadcasting information directly to the Void. Data about Earth's counter-strategy. "All ships prepare for combat," Bennett ordered. "We need to stop that transmission." But it was too late. The Void suddenly surged forward, moving past Neptune toward the inner planets. "It knows," Goodwin said back on Earth, watching the data streams. "It knows we're trying to trick it." Earth mobilized every defense. Space-based weapons platforms fired at the approaching machines. The disruption devices were activated, causing temporary confusion in the Void's ranks. But still it came. Mason's betrayal wasn't limited to space. His followers had infiltrated key positions on Earth. As the void approached Mars, saboteurs struck across the planet. Energy signature network compromised, came the alert. Stations 7, 12, and 23 are down. Director Wright ordered security teams to protect the remaining stations. We need the network intact or the counter-strategy fails completely. The Orcs battle raged in space and on Earth simultaneously. Security forces clashed with Mason's followers in violent confrontations. The space fleet engaged the Void's advanced machines, winning small victories but suffering heavy losses. Captain Bennett made a desperate decision. We're taking the Horizon straight into the Void's main formation, she told her crew. Foster's latest disruption device might not stop it, but it could slow it down. The Horizon plunged into the heart of the Void's swarm. Machines attached themselves to the hull, attempting to breach it. The ship's weapons fired continuously, clearing paths through the mechanical mass. I'm detecting something, Science Officer, Grant called out. A central node, some kind of coordination hub. Bennett studied the readings. That's our target. All power to engines and shields. We're going in. The Horizon pushed deeper into the Void, taking heavy damage. Systems failed. Across the ship, crew members worked to repair what they could while fighting off machines that breached the hull. On Earth, Goodwin made a startling discovery as he analyzed real-time data from the battle. The Void isn't just harvesting energy, he told Director Wright. It's harvesting information too. Every civilization it consumes, it absorbs their knowledge. Wright understood immediately. If it takes Earth, it gets everything, our history, our science, our strategies for fighting it. As the Horizon neared the Void's central node, Bennett realized this might be humanity's last stand. But in the heart of darkness, she spotted something unexpected, a potential weakness. Foster, she called over the comm. I need you on the bridge. I think I've found a way in. Humanity's warning. The Horizon drifted silently through the heart of the Void. Most of its systems were shut down to avoid detection. Inside a small shuttle bay, Captain Bennett and Kevin Foster prepared for what might be a suicide mission. Central node isn't just a control system, Bennett explained as they checked their equipment. It's a data repository. Everything the Void has harvested, energy, information, technology, it all flows through there. Foster nodded, examining the small device in his hands, a modified version of his disruption technology. This won't destroy it. We don't have that kind of power, but it might change it. That's all we need, Bennett said. The two launched their shuttle, navigating through the swarm of machines. The Void was so focused on approaching Earth that it paid little attention to the tiny craft moving within its own ranks. On Earth, the battle against Mason's followers reached its climax. GDI forces recaptured the sabotaged energy signature stations. The network was restored to full power, once again projecting the counter-strategy signal. The Void hesitated in its advance. Dr. Goodwin watched the readings with growing excitement. It's working again. The Void is slowing down, recalculating. Director Wright wasn't convinced. It knew about our trick once, it won't be fooled for long. Inside the Void, Bennett and Foster reached the central node, a massive structure pulsing with stolen energy. Its surface was covered with intricate patterns that shifted constantly. It's processing information, Foster realized. Making decisions. They found an access point where energy flowed into the node. Foster connected his device to the stream. This will reprogram rather than disrupt, he explained. We can't destroy something this vast, but we might be able to change its priorities. Bennett kept watch as Foster worked. The Void hadn't detected them yet, but it was only a matter of time. Whatever you're doing, do it fast, she urged. Foster's fingers flew over the device. The Void operates on pure efficiency. It harvests stars that give the highest return for the lowest effort. I'm editing that calculation, adding variables it hasn't considered. On Earth, Goodwin suddenly noticed a change in the Void's behavior. Something's happening. Its harvesting pattern is shifting. The machines surrounding Earth's solar system began to withdraw, Not all at once, but gradually, like a tide going out. Foster completed his work and disconnected the device. Let's go. We don't want to be here when it processes the changes. They raced back to their shuttle and returned to the horizon. As they approached, they saw the Void's machines detaching from the damaged ship. What did you do? Bennett asked as they boarded. Foster smiled tiredly. I added a new variable to its efficiency equation, resistance. The more a civilization fights back, the less efficient harvesting becomes. Earth fought harder than anything it's encountered in millennia. The horizon limped away as the Void's forces continued to withdraw, not toward Neptune, but away from the solar system entirely. Earth celebrated, but Dr. Goodwin understood the bitter truth. It's not stopping, he told the GDI Council. It's just moving on to easier targets. In the following months, humanity rebuilt. The preservers decided to stay, sharing their knowledge and becoming part of Earth's growing interstellar community. Captain Bennett proposed a bold plan. We can't stop the Void completely, but we can warn others. We have the technology. Now to send messages across vast distances, Earth constructed massive communication arrays. Using technology from the preservers and knowledge gained from the Void itself, humanity broadcast detailed instructions throughout the galaxy. How to detect the Void, how to implement the counter-strategy, how to reprogram its efficiency calculations. This is humanity's warning to the galaxy, Bennett said as the first message was sent. We survived, and so can you. The stars still fell silent in distant regions as the Void continued its ancient harvest. But now sometimes a star that should have gone dark remained shining, proof that another civilization had received the warning and successfully defended itself. Earth looked to the stars with new purpose. They had survived, but the battle was far from over. The Void was still out there, consuming and growing. Someday it might return, but next time, humanity would be ready.